This is a training video for the 100 kVA Vaughan primary fault finder. Step one, you need to ground the capacitor, which is this right here, and the 100 kVA fault finder. When you go to ground your capacitor, right now it has a grounding strap, which is keeping any charge from building up. As soon as you disconnect this grounding strap, the capacitor can build a charge. So you need to wear your rubber gloves while handling the capacitor. When you're removing the ground strap, you need to completely take it off this side. You can leave it on this side or you can take it off completely. You attach one of your yellow grounds right here to this side of the capacitor. Once you get one side of the capacitor grounded, you need to attach your ground to your system ground. Next step is you need to ground your thumper down here with one of the yellow grounds and then tie it to your system ground for your grounding wad so that you can bleed the capacitor down before you try to disassemble it. Next step, you would be assembling your ground. You need to take your grounding on and lay it up here. Best results is let the hook catch one of the springs right there so it holds it on top. Now he's going to be hooking up his resistor rod to the top of the thumper, which gets screwed in right here. Now he's going to be reinstalling his nut back on top of the capacitor so he can install the impulse control gap to the capacitor. This impulse control, you can adjust your timing on your thumps by taking this fiberglass rod right here and inserting it on top of there and lining the notch up. Where's the notch? Right there. And in between thumps with rubber gloves on, you can turn this to open or close if you want to speed up or slow down your thumps. Now he's going to take this black wire off the resistor and hook it to the capacitor underneath his impulse control gap. You need to make sure before you start the thump that all your wires are nowhere near the casing of your thumper or your capacitor, because it'll start to arc over if the fiberglass is not real clean on each one. It'll just start having a bunch of static arcing over. Now he's going to be inserting, after he's grounded his wire, first check for voltage, grounded it. He's going to insert this pin into his feed through so he can attach his wire coming from his impulse control gap, which is this red wire here, needs to be attached to this rod there. This is your control box. This control box has two different settings on it. It has a 30 kVA and 100 kVA. If you're on a 7200 system that has 15 kVA wire, you want it to be on the 30 kVA. When you're on a 14.4 system that has 25 kV or 35 kV, it has to be on the 100 kVA setting, so it'll send enough voltage for the thump. This next step is to take the second lead coming out of control box and hook to the thumper. Once you install this connector, you have to twist it to the right to lock it in place, twist it to the left to unlock. At this point, he's ready to start thumping the cable. First thing is you need to remove your grounding wand from the top of the machine. You can lay it on the ground out of the way. Now, being that we are using an inverter for power to supply the control box, the control box will not come on unless itself is grounded back to your system neutral. After your ground is hooked up, you can plug your control box into your inverter for power. There's a little indicator light that's on the top of the control. When it lights up orange, that means you have power to the control box. Now that we have power to the control box, he can turn the machine on, and now he can start slowly turning his voltage up, watching his meter here, making sure that he don't exceed 15 kV on 25 kVA wire. Now that he has the machine turned on to start thumping, you need to stay away from both of these boxes, especially these wires here, in case one of them was to pop loose. Since the machine is not thumping yet, he can come over to his gap arrestor and try closing his gap with this fiberglass rod while staying clear of the wires. Closing it to the right, clockwise, that closes your gap. It will start thumping. You'll hear a pop. This amp meter over here, you notice that it's going up, it's building the charge, and then dropping back down. That tells you the wire is bad. Now that we've located our bad primary, you need to turn the dial all the way to 0, and then you can turn the machine off. And if you notice on your dial indicator here, it's holding a little bit of voltage, not much. So then you would want to come over and grab your grounding wand and attach it to the top of the thumper in this area, silver area on top. When you're messing with this capacitor, you need to ground it. So the best thing to do, since you have one side ground already hooked up to it, is take the ground loose on your system ground and touch it to the other stud on your capacitor. Now that he's done that, still with your rubber gloves on, you need to ground across your capacitor with this copper wire. Once it's grounded, it's safe to pick it up and load it back up.